Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Big boost to India's telecom sector. PM Modi inaugurates fully indigenous 4G network. India slams Pakistan PM Shehbaz Sharif at the UNGA for glorifying terrorism, reiterates that India will make no distinction between terrorists and their sponsors. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar calls for adherence to international law at BRICS foreign ministers in New York to address UN General Assembly today. UN sanctions on Iran loom after UN Security Council rejects last-ditch effort to delay reimposition of sanctions over its nuclear program. Iran's Pezeshkian says will survive sanctions. Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone and inaugurated multiple development projects in Odisha today. These projects span across telecommunications, railways, higher education, healthcare, skill development, rural housing sectors, among others. In a major boost to national communication infrastructure, Prime Minister Modi commissioned over 97,500 mobile 4G towers built with indigenous technology. These towers will connect around 26,700 unconnected villages in remote, border and left-wing extremism-affected areas, serving over 20 lakh new subscribers. Prime Minister said that India is among the 5 countries in the world that possess completely indigenous technology to launch 4G services.
BSNL और उसके सहयोगियों की मेहनत से आज भारत ग्लोबल टेलीकॉम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हब बनने की दिशा में आगे बढ़ रहा है। ये ओडिशा के लिए भी गर्व की बात है कि आज झारसुगुड़ा से बीएसएनएल के स्वदेशी 4G नेटवर्क का शुभारंभ हो रहा है, जिसमें करीब 1 लाख दोस्तों देश के लिए गर्व होगा, 1 लाख 4G टावर है। ये टावर देश के दूरदराज के क्षेत्रों में कनेक्टिविटी की नई क्रांति लाने जा रहा है। 4G तकनीक के एक विस्तार से देश भर में 2 करोड़ से ज्यादा लोगों को सीधा लाभ मिलेगा।
PM Modi also flagged off Amrit Bharat Express between Odisha and Gujarat, providing affordable and comfortable connectivity across states, supporting tourism, creating employment opportunities and linking key economic districts. PM Modi also distributed approval orders to 50,000 beneficiaries under Pradhan Mantri Antyodaya Grih Yojana. The scheme aims to provide pakka houses and financial support to vulnerable rural families. Earlier, Prime Minister received a traditional welcome in Jharsuguda. Locals gathered in large number featuring traditional performances that showcase the state's rich cultural heritage. India is scripting a sporting revolution under Prime Minister Narendra Modi. From record budgets and landmark reforms to historic medal halls, the nation is on its way to becoming a true multi-sport powerhouse. Here's a report.
Through my own experience, I've been introduced to the TOP scheme, which is also a very, very important scheme taken by the government. And I've always felt really supported by them.
Each athlete, they are really happy because PM is really taking interest in their career and their well-being and their performance also. So that difference is visible.
I'm proud to say that I'm an Indian who represents the country with pride, and thanks to our leadership in our country, under the dynamic leadership of Modi ji, we are definitely moving in the right direction.
India is leaving no stone unturned to boost sports and encourage the sportsperson to bring laurels for the nation. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, achieving excellence in sports has become a national mission. The number stands as a testament to government's sincere efforts. Budget push for sports. The Sports Ministry's annual budget has grown from 466 crore rupees in 2004-05 to a record 3,794 crore rupees in 2025-26. Flagship initiatives, Khelo India scheme. It promotes both mass participation and excellence. It includes annual events like the Khelo India Youth Games, Khelo India University Games, Khelo India Para Games and Khelo India Winter Games. Target Olympic Podium scheme provides financial and training support to elite athletes. Fit India Movement 2019 promotes active lifestyles and healthy habits across the nation. Record performances. The results are there for all to see. India's medal tally jumped from 2 in Rio 2016 to 7 in Tokyo 2020 and 6 in Paris 2024. At the Asian Games, India created history with 107 medals at Hangzhou 2023. From Neeraj Chopra's golden arm to double gold in Chess Olympiad 2024 and the Thomas Cup victory in badminton, India is becoming a multi-sport nation. Major sports reforms in 2025. Sports Governance Bill passed in both Houses of Parliament to ensure transparency, accountability and professionalism in sports administration. National Sports Policy 2025 approved by Union Cabinet to reshape India's sporting landscape and empower citizens through sport. Global engagements and diplomacy. India has also positioned itself as a hub for global sports diplomacy, hosting the IOC session in Mumbai 2023, the Chess Olympiad in Chennai 2022, MotoGP Bharat 2023 and the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in Bhubaneswar 2022. Future aspirations. India is bidding for the 2030 Commonwealth Games and aims to host the Olympics in 2036. Emotional connect. But beyond policy and numbers, athletes say what matters most is the Prime Minister's personal touch. His meetings, his words of encouragement, and his recognition of their achievements have made him a true mentor of Indian sport. From being a cricket-obsessed country, India is now on its way to becoming a global sporting powerhouse.
And Union Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri has announced that natural gas has been discovered in the Andaman Basin, confirming the long-held belief that the Andaman Sea is rich in natural gas. Hardeep Puri informed that Oil India has found natural gas in the Sri Vijayapuram 2 well at a distance of 9.20 nautical mile from the shoreline on the east coast of Andaman Islands. The gas samples were tested and found to be 87% methane. Under the deep water mission announced by PM Modi on Independence Day, large number of deep water exploration wells are planned in our offshore basins in order to find new discoveries and exploit hydrocarbon reserves. Now, India dismissed Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's remarks at the UN General Assembly as absurd theatrics, recalling that Islamabad had pleaded for a ceasefire during Operation Sindoor. Exercising the right of reply of India on Pakistan PM Shehbaz Sharif's speech, First Secretary in India's permanent mission to the UN, Petal Gehlot, rejected Pakistan PM's account of the May conflict, noting that Pakistan's threats ended only after Indian forces struck multiple Pakistani air bases on 10th May.
The Prime Minister of Pakistan also advanced a bizarre account of the recent conflict with India. The record on this matter is clear. Till 9th May, Pakistan was threatening more attacks on India. But on 10th May, its military pleaded with us directly for a cessation to the fighting. The intervening event was the destruction caused to multiple Pakistani air bases by Indian forces. The pictures of that damage are, of course, publicly accessible. If destroyed runways and burnt out hangars look like victory, as the Prime Minister claimed, Pakistan is welcome to enjoy it.
India firmly condemned Pakistan, saying it has made terrorism and the glorification of terrorists an essential part of its foreign policy. The Indian envoy recalled that Pakistan had blocked accountability for a Pakistani-sponsored terror outfit earlier this year at the UN Security Council.
This is the very same Pakistan which, at the UN Security Council on 25th April 2025, shielded the resistance front, a Pakistani-sponsored terror outfit, from the responsibility of carrying out the barbaric massacre of tourists in the Indian Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Mr. President, a country long steeped in the tradition of deploying and exporting terrorism has no shame in advancing the most ludicrous narratives to that end.
India's representative exposed the lies of Pakistani PM Shehbaz Sharif and suggested that if Pakistan is actually serious about fighting terrorism, it should hand over all terrorists to India.
As in the past, Pakistan is responsible for a terrorist attack on innocent civilians in India. We have exercised the right to defend our people against such actions and have brought the organizers and perpetrators to justice. The Pakistani Prime Minister has spoken about wanting peace with India. If he is indeed sincere, the pathway is clear. Pakistan must immediately shut down all terrorist camps and hand over to us terrorists wanted in India.
And reaffirming India's long-standing position, the Indian envoy stressed that all outstanding issues with Pakistan must be resolved bilaterally, leaving no room for any third party.
Mr. President, India and Pakistan have long agreed that any outstanding issue between them will be addressed bilaterally. There is no room for any third party in that regard. This is our long-standing national position.
External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar on Friday convened a high-level meeting of BRICS foreign ministers in New York, using the platform to underscore the bloc's crucial role in promoting multilateralism and advancing constructive global engagement at a time of international uncertainty. They also made a strong pitch for the comprehensive reform of the United Nations, especially the Security Council, reiterating support for the aspirations of India and Brazil to assume a larger role. Addressing the meeting, Dr. Jaishankar said, and I quote him here, "When multilateralism is under stress, BRICS has stood firm as a strong voice of reason and constructive change," unquote. The minister underlined that BRICS must reinforce peace-building, dialogue, diplomacy and adherence to international law, particularly at a time when multilateralism is under stress. Calling for institutional reforms, Indian External Affairs Minister said, BRICS must amplify its collective call for a comprehensive reform of the principal organs of the United Nations, especially the UN Security Council. On the economic front, Dr. Jaishankar warned against protectionist trends. He further emphasized that technology and innovation would define the next phase of BRICS cooperation. In a significant political endorsement, the ministers extended full support to India's upcoming BRICS chairship in 2026, when it will host the next BRICS summit. And the BRICS foreign minister expressed strong condemnation of any acts of terrorism as criminal and unjustifiable, regardless of their motivation, whenever, wherever and by whomsoever committed. The leaders condemned in the strongest forms the terrorist attack in Jammu and Kashmir on 22nd April 2025. They reaffirmed their commitment to combating terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, including the cross-border movement of terrorists, terrorism financing and safe havens. The leaders urged to ensure zero tolerance for terrorism and reject double standards in countering terrorism. Dr. Jaishankar also attended India, Brazil and South Africa ministers' meeting in New York on Friday. In a social media post, the Indian External Affairs Minister stated, and I quote him here, IBSA made a strong call for the transformative reform of the UNSA. Discussions also on IBSA Academic Forum, Maritime Exercise Trust Fund and intra-IBSA trade, unquote. He further said IBSA will continue to meet frequently in future as well. All right, we are slipping into a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Russia and Ukraine intensify drone attacks on each other infrastructure. North Korea's Kim calls for sharpening of nuclear shield and sword.
In today's episode, let's take a look at how people are trying to live and survive with these complex emerging challenges.
Floodwaters submerge their shelters, snakes move to higher ground, which often means closer to people's homes. When a Sarpa support member rescues a snake, it truly means that the snake is rescued, not captured or injured.
When the flowing water becomes muddy and full of sand, it's a sign that there has been heavy rain in the hills and a flood may be on its way. We need a lot of bamboo to make a changhar, from making the pillars, walls, the raised platform to a false ceiling.
The main problem is the climate crisis. We've just had a few very wet months, but nature needs all that rain. What we need to secure groundwater capacity is rain in the fall and winter.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. United Nations sanctions on Iran are set to be reimposed on Saturday after a Russian and Chinese Security Council resolution to delay them failed. The Russian and Chinese push to delay the return of sanctions on Iran failed at the 15-member UN Security Council after only 4 countries supported their draft resolution. All UN sanctions on Iran are due to return after European powers known as E3 triggered a 30-day process accusing Tehran of violating a 2015 deal meant to prevent it from developing a nuclear weapon. Iran denies seeking nuclear weapons. Diplomats had said the resolution to delay sanctions for 6 months had been unlikely to pass after last-stage talks between Iran and Britain, France and Germany failed to break a deadlock. 9 countries voted no, while 2 abstained. While Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian has asserted that it is fully prepared for the reimposition of UN sanctions, he assured the nation that the country will not succumb to the pressure of West.
And ultimately, it's not as if the sky will fall and we'll have to surrender if they go through with this. The reality is that with the measures we have in place, with the relationship we maintain with our neighbors, with the countries in Eurasia, BRICS and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and with the interactions that have been forming, as well as with the people of our own country and Iranians who care about Iran and the territorial integrity of the nation and who believe in the dignity and pride of the Iranian people, we will be able to overcome this situation.
Meanwhile, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi confirmed that a deal had been reached with the agency, but he dismissed the sanctions process as legally void, vowing Tehran would never bow to pressure while still leaving space for dialogue.
Iran will never bow to pressure. We respond only to respect. The choice is clear: escalation or diplomacy. The responsibility lies with those who broke their commitments and undermined international law. The Security Council just voted on a draft by China and Russia to give diplomacy another chance. Under US pressure, unfortunately, the Council refused. Iran's position on snapback is clear. It is illegal, void, and has no standing. The E3, having breached the deal, cannot claim significant non-performance. Resolution 2231 restrictions will expire permanently on 18 October 2025. Any attempt to revive or extend them is null and void.
All right, in other updates, Russia and Ukraine have intensified drone attacks on each other infrastructure. As per the State Service of Ukraine, Russia attacked by over 115 drones overnight. Meanwhile, Ukraine has stepped up drone attacks on Russian energy infrastructure in recent weeks, targeting refineries and export terminals to reduce Moscow's export revenues. The attacks have reduced Russian oil refining by almost a fifth on certain days. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has ordered all available resources of the region to be directed towards strengthening the country's nuclear program to sharpen the nuclear shield and thwart and defend its sovereignty and security. Kim met his senior officials and scientists of nuclear weapons research institutes and described it as the country's essential top priority to further advance its nuclear response posture. North Korea has pursued nuclear weapons for decades, including clandestine uranium enrichment, enabling the production of up to 20 warheads each year. U.S. congressional Democrats released daily schedules belonging to the late financier and sex offender Jeffrey Epstein from 2014 to 2019. The schedule showed Epstein had plans to meet with Republican donors Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and conservative commentator Steve Bannon. The documents also showed Britain's Prince Andrew flew on Epstein's private jet in 2000. There were no accusations of any wrongdoing by Musk, Thiel, Bannon or Andrew in the documents released on Friday. The daily calendars do not indicate whether Epstein's meetings with Musk, Thiel and Bannon in fact took place. In an ex post on Friday referencing a new story about the documents release, Musk wrote, "This is false," quote unquote. FBI Director Kash Patel said in congressional testimony earlier this month that there was no credible information that Epstein trafficked women and underage girls to anyone but himself. Now, the U.S. Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to freeze for now more than $4 billion in foreign assistance appropriated by Congress. The conservative-dominated court said upholding the president's authority to conduct foreign affairs appears to outweigh the potential harm faced by the intended recipients of the aid money. The court said its emergency order was not a final determination on the merits of the case, but it allows for a temporary freeze on disbursement of the funds while the case continues in lower courts. The United States will revoke Colombian President Gustavo Petro's visa because he urged U.S. soldiers to disobey orders and incite violence in New York on Friday. In his speech to the global gathering on Tuesday, Petro also hit out at Trump, saying the U.S. leader was complicit in genocide in Gaza and called for criminal proceedings over U.S. missile attacks on suspected drug-running boats in Caribbean waters. Petro's social media profile on Friday showed he had reposted several video clips of himself speaking at a gathering of pro-Palestinian protesters in New York. The Colombian leader, a vocal opponent of Israel's conflict in Gaza, has suspended exports of coal to Israel. All right, sports updates now. 18-year-old Indian armless archer Sheetal Devi scripted history by clinching her maiden World Archery Para Championships gold medal in Gwangju, Korea on Saturday. Sheetal defeated Turkey's world number 1 Oznur Jure Guri 146-143 to bag the women's compound individual category gold. Sheetal, the only armless archer in the competition, shoots using her feet and chin, and this was her third medal of the championships. She had earlier won a mixed team bronze in the compound event with Toman Kumar. And two-time Paralympic javelin throw champion Sumit Antil and sprinter Preeti Pal are set to lead India's challenge at the World Para Athletics Championships starting in New Delhi on Saturday. Apart from Sumit Antil, who is also the defending champion in the javelin throw F64 class, and Preeti Pal, Praveen Kumar, Dharambir Nain and Navdeep will also carry the medal hopes for the host nation. India has sent a 73-member contingent for the tournament. World champion and world record holder Wen Zhaoyan of China will defend her title in the first medal event. In men's 5,000-meter T11 event, the top three of the last Paralympic Games, Brazil's Julio Cesar, Yatsin Jacques and Kenya Karasawa of Japan will compete. Over 1,000 athletes compete for 186 medal events. At the 2024 edition in China was the most successful country with 87 medals, while India finished 6th after bagging 17 medals. And Viksit Bharat Run, a public outreach to celebrate India's journey to become a developed nation, was held in Kuwait, Switzerland, Maldives and several other locations. The run was organized in Salmiya city of Kuwait. The event saw enthusiastic participation from Indian diaspora as well as friends of India in Kuwait. The short marathon symbolized India's run towards the goal of a Viksit Bharat or developed India. The run was flagged off in Male, capital city of Maldives. It united over 300 runners from Indian and Maldivian communities in a vibrant celebration of fitness, friendship and shared aspirations for a better future. High Commission of India in Port Moresby, which is capital of Papua New Guinea, organized the run at scenic Ella Beach with enthusiastic participation, which saw a vibrant display of unity, service and solidarity. In Zurich, city of Switzerland, diaspora members across age groups joined the run, celebrating fitness and India's vision for a developed future. Despite inclement weather, the diaspora turned out in good numbers to support the initiative. Football now. Real Madrid have made a perfect start to the season under Xabi Alonso, but their new coach warned against complacency ahead of his first derby against Atletico Madrid on Saturday. Real are flying high in the Spanish top-flight competition with 6 wins in a row, but Atletico have been a tough obstacle for them, with Real being winless in their last 5 La Liga derbies. Meanwhile, Atletico have won 2 of their 6 league games, which leaves them trailing their Madrid rivals by 9 points. Atletico have also had less time to rest ahead of the derby, having played Rayo Vallecano on Wednesday, a day after Real played their previous match against Levante. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile application. The application is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.